We're back. Bellies are full. Presents have been handed out. My hangover, I think, has officially healed. Christmas is over. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because Edmonton Oilers hockey is back. As the Oilers travel to LA for a Saturday matinee divisional game. Ain't no rest for the wicked. We are back in to the thick of things immediately. Hello and welcome to Pre-Gaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the giant for a reason. And Pre-Gaming is a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the code NATION. And come on now, you get on that Bet365 because I see Lance Kane's already in the chat. Says, give me Bordzy's bankroll. Ty, I don't know if I've even officially told you. Lance is now on the bankroll train, and he's left the Yaremchuk train as well. But hey, you see my co-host. We both haven't spoke to the Oilers faithful, the fan base, in a couple of days. So you're getting double trouble today. Tyler, how are you doing? How was your Christmas, my dog?
It was really good. It was nice and relaxing. Like, again, we did an episode of Oilersnation Radio yesterday, and we were talking a bit about, would you like the NHL to take advantage of the holidays a little bit? And I mean, part of this is selfish because we do this for work and whatever, but it is nice to just have 5 days where you don't have to worry about hockey or watching the Oilers or anything like that. And there's other sports on to kind of scratch the itch and whatnot. But I like that the NHL just kind of goes quiet for a little bit. It's nice.
I do too, selfishly, because we finally get a couple days off. But dude, Christmas football, while those games sucked,
yeah,
I still watched every bit of it, 7 hours nonstop. Shout out to Scott Hansen. I almost said Chris Hansen. It's always the catch a predator guy, either one. And you got to be careful when comparing the two of them. But also, LeBron James says that the NBA owns Christmas. Brother, what are you watching? Because no one is talking about the NBA these days, LeBron. You are full of it. You're past it. But Ty, how was your Christmas? You also mentioned today is a special date for you and your loved ones, I mentioned as well. I'm also watching the Patriots just get destroyed right now. This is hurting my soul. But Ty, what'd you get for Christmas this year?
Well, the big one, AB, you and I were joking about this before we went on, and our producer Pat said, like, we're getting old, but like you and I both got crock pots for Christmas, and we were like, we both made soups yesterday. That was my big thing I was excited for. I made a nice tortilla soup in mine. What did you make?
Mexican chicken tortilla soup.
There you go. Look at us go. That's crazy.
Dude, that's incredible. Yeah, I've been eating soup all night last night, all morning. I had a breakfast bowl of soup this morning. Who needs cereal? I got soup. And I also, like, my Christmas was good. It was good, spent with family. I have another one going tomorrow. So programming note, you're going to get Liam tomorrow. I do believe this Bordzy will be not there. I'm going to go celebrate. Also, it's the fantasy football finals. You don't want to see me tomorrow because I'm going to be literally pulling the hair out of my head, much like I am kind of right now. My Christmas was good. Shout out my mom. She got me this new little jacket. Shout out Lululemon as well. And it had nothing to do with the gift, but I got really back into Call of Duty again. You just give me a couple days. It was much like COVID. I was playing Warzone. I was playing multiplayer. I haven't done that since COVID, and I was eating soup, gaming COD, eating soup, gaming COD. It was awesome. But one thing, first, let's check in with the chat because I do see I got a super chat in here, Tyler. And as we know, all the super chats are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. And it's QF Pro. He's in and says, don't mean to be a downer. Well, okay. But Oilers struggled coming back from extended breaks last year. However, the fact it's LA might cancel that out. W incoming with $5 in support of the Stelter Foundation. Sergeant Battle, time for Fogle to learn the pain and on the losing side of this war. Also, RV revenge game. That's right. Double revenge games this evening. Sprinkled on a little bit of both of them, as you know I tend to do. Maynard's in. Kings will definitely be in playoff mode today. Oilers need to be ready to go from puck drop. Let's go. And as we know about the Edmonton Oilers, sometimes their starts, not great. Matinee starts, also not great. You add in 5 days of drinking and eating. If they did anything much like I did over Christmas, he said, we haven't done the show in 5 days. Sitting here this morning, I was like, how do I do this again? What's the normal order I go in? But also Maynard said Jeff Skinner on the screenshot is kind of funny. That makes me laugh as well. But Ty, we also got some news. We can, I think, share this because he posted it to social media. The third member of Oilers Nation every day. We've added another member to the ONE family is our boy Liam Horban. Got engaged over this break. Shout out, Liam. We love you. And also, happy birthday, Brett Holden. There's a lot to talk about today before we get going. Producer Brett, he's not here today. It's Pat behind the scenes. Shout out, Brett. Happy 28th, 29th birthday. You'd think I would know his age, but no, come on. Who needs that? But okay, let's talk oil. We need a little bit of a refresher course before we start doing things again. As I said, I was a little blank when running through the old memory bank. So if you're like me and you spent the holidays boozed up, taking naps nonstop, you know the classic of you don't know what time of day it is. You don't even know what day it is. That's why the Christmas break is the best. But the Edmonton Oilers were red hot right before this break had started, right? They had won 3 in a row, just gone through the gauntlet. Tampa Bay, Florida, Vegas. Look at that record. 21-11-2. Second in the Pacific. 1 point up on the LA Kings with the same amount of games played. But the Oilers, it's just December hockey. It's December stew. It's December oil because it's something we thought would start to happen, and they improved nearly every facet of their game in November. Ty, the power play, the PK, the goaltending, especially the 5-on-5. You got bodies coming back from injuries. Leon, he's making his case for MVP right now because of what he's done lately, and it's kind of funny because now it feels like Connor McDavid's flying a little bit under the radar with how well Leon has been playing lately. And Ty, you know me, I love to say I told you so. I love being right. But this was the turnaround you and I both thought coming into December that we would start to see. I do not know why the Edmonton Oilers struggle in the way that they do. I've just begun to deal with it and started to profit off of that struggle and subsequent upturn right now. But it doesn't make it any less impressive what they're doing right now in the stretch that they were on before this holiday break. The Oilers red hot, looking to keep it going tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of going across the board here, 8-2 in the month of December. They have an 800 points percentage. That's second best in the NHL this month. Goals for per game, third in the league. Goals against per game, sixth best in the NHL. The power plays top 5. The penalty kills taken some strides, even though it's, just a tick above league average, way better than what we were getting in the first month of the season. They're generating a ton of chances. The goaltending, like you said, really holding up. Everything is kind of breaking their way, which is awesome. And yesterday on ON Radio, we were asked to give one word to describe the month of December, and I just said inevitable, right? Even when they were struggling, you could look at the shooting percentage, you could look at the goaltending struggles, all of the metrics, and it was like, oh no, okay, they're generating a lot, they're preventing a decent amount. All these things should line back up at some point, and that's exactly what we did, or what they've done.
Much like Thanos, inevitable. Ty, that's one hell of a one-word answer. That got me a little bit fired up right there. Let's get going. Chell's also in and says, Cup year, Mark. Everything is coming up Oilers right now. Also, Jeremy, shout out to him. Oh, whoops, wrong one. He says, let's go. I rarely catch the live shows anymore, but I'm fired up for the game today. Jeremy, throw down your courtesy like you know the drill. Seems like the vibes are pretty good in the chat as well. Maynard also mentions, Ty, it's the mom's trip for the Edmonton Oilers going on right now. They're taking their mothers out to Hollywood for the LA and Anaheim game tomorrow. We, much like the Oilers, love our mothers. As I said, shout out to the jacket. But, you think about the rest versus rust, whatever. You come in with all this rust. You're playing the matinee game. Hopefully, the moms being in the building will have the boys extra motivated that you always got to show off when your mom's in the building. I don't care who you are. Your mom or your girlfriend are in the stands. You are going to play better. But there ain't no, rest for the wicked, as you might say, because the boys, they are back with a big test this afternoon. Ty, we thought we were done the gauntlet, and we are for the most part. We snuck in the San Jose scare of a hockey game and then the Ottawa Senators, but they're right back at it. Big divisional one here today against the LA Kings. The Oil, like I mentioned, 1 point up on the LA Kings for second in the Pacific Division. They each have 34 games played in these divisional battles. There's the head-to-head. Shout out, Pat, right there. You look at it, the LA Kings, once again, while they don't maybe play their shitty, boring 1-3-1 trap style of hockey. It is still defense first when it comes to the LA Kings. And both of these squads, dude, they know what to expect. There is literally nothing new. I get you can swap Fogle, you can swap Arvidsson, you can bring in new bodies. The meat and potatoes are still there. They know what to expect. Oilers, high-flying offense with top skill. That can kill you. And the LA Kings, more of that slow, wear you down. I don't necessarily want to use the word boring this season, but boring light, I will say. And then throw in some of that dirty rat play all out there on the ice, and you get Oilers and LA Kings hockey. And I know the Edmonton Oilers, dude, we've had the LA Kings number through and through for the last couple of years. We've defeated them in 3 straight playoff series, beat them 4-1 last season. And while I am forever confident in the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to this matchup, the Kings know how to play the Oil. They have beaten the Oil before. It is no time to take this team lightly with those point standings there, meaning such a big difference. It's the first game of the season between these two as well, Ty. There was a holiday break here in between these, but I'm expecting first game back, maybe not playoff style energy, but I'm expecting some animosity out there on the ice today.
Yeah, I think so. For the Oilers, I think people could maybe be worried about the break, and I saw some of that in the chat and in the comments. I think, LA also hasn't played since last Sunday, and I know it's the mom's trip, but I think after a long break, it's better to go out on the road than it is to be at home. I think like getting on the plane, being in your routine of a road game, no distractions of the holidays at home or anything. You just kind of hit the road and jump right back into it. I do think that kind of helps. And the other thing too, like obviously a rivalry against LA, you mentioned the playoff success. The regular season success is there as well in the last 3 years. So those 3 years where the season has ended in the playoffs against the Oilers for the Kings, Edmonton's also 8-4 against them in the regular season as well. So they've been good against the Kings, no matter how you dice it up, home, split, home, road, however you split it up, regular season, playoffs. This is a team they have a lot of confidence against. So I like that the Oilers are on the road, and I like that they're playing a team that they've handled very easily the last number of years.
Yeah, they have. I see some people in here as well, Jeremy. What are the odds for a faux goal tonight? You got double revenge goals going on, and you're going to have to wait for Bordzy's bankroll near the end of the show. Also, Zach Hyman, you just got a smash on the anytime goal right now. It's plus 190. Brother, come on. I'm going to keep smashing that every step of the way. So, once again, continuing the refresher course for the Edmonton Oilers. We remember the last game against Ottawa. It was a late scratch last minute while we were pre-gaming, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was going to be out of the lineup. He did not play in that game against Ottawa, and we saw Victor Arvidsson get that top line spot with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. Ty, some people thought it would be Jeff Skinner. I myself honestly thought it would just be Matthias Janmark in a one-game spurt. We've seen them do that a number of times before, but it was, in fact, a Victor Arvidsson, and you made this point on Oilers Nation every day. That's why Chris Knobloch coaches the team, and we do not, because Arvy, he was awesome, right? He had a goal and an assist, and he scored that goal, much like I say the guy Kasperi Kapanen has scored his goals, finding the quiet areas, finding the soft spots, and just flying under the radar directly in front of the net. And Arvy in that game, we know he's capable of it. We know he can play with skilled players. We've seen him do it his entire career before, but it was a nice reminder and a reminder of what he was doing before his injury. If you remember correctly, he was finding that chemistry with Leon Draisaitl and Vasily Podkolzin. Maybe not necessarily the production you would have liked when you check the box scores, but if you were watching with the eye test, they had that chemistry opening up for give and goes and one-timers all throughout the ice. Now today, he's going to be back in that exact same spot with Leon and Podzilla. RNH returns to that top line. Arvidsson will play second line right wing. Kasperi Kapanen moves down one and to his opposite side. More on that a little bit later. As you see on your screen, he'll be third line left wing with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. Now, I'd argue that the Arvidsson experiment, sure, it hasn't gone exactly the way you wanted it to, and that is, to me, entirely because of injury, because when he has been on the ice, in my opinion, he has been very effective. Yes, he missed 15 games, but after this holiday break and the way he played right before this, and we're getting him back into this top 6 opportunity. Nobby was very clear, Ty, when he came back into the lineup, Arvidsson. He wasn't going to rush him back into the top 6. He was going to let him cook, let him marinate in the bottom 6, and spring him back up there when he is ready. Well, if you watch that Ottawa game, I think Victor Arvidsson is more than ready. I'm excited to see him back in that Draisaitl, Podkolzin spot because, Ty, like I said, those 3 were cooking before Arvidsson's undisclosed injury that kept him out for a bit. Thoughts on RV returning to that second line spot?
Yeah, he scored against Ottawa, which is great. I felt like away from that early goal, that line was fine. They weren't bad. They weren't good. I felt like they were just very average. So I'm good with him going back down. Nude shouldn't lose his spot on that top line simply because, he was sick or whatever went down that last game. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I do think what's really interesting is the way things work kind of below that now. And again, some of the decisions Chris Knobloch is making. Kapanen stays on the third line. Jeff Skinner doesn't get a spot up the lineup. And it's a guy who they claimed on waivers playing ahead of a guy they gave $3.5 million. So the top 6, honestly, for the next, I think 4 or 5 games, you might just see this locked in, assuming everyone stays healthy. I think they want to give this some runway. It'll be the bottom 6 for me where I think we'll maybe see a little bit of tinkering.
Jeff Skinner obviously has been a point of contention in this Edmonton Oilers fan base. Did you think in that last game in Ottawa, Ty, that Jeff Skinner would get that opportunity to be upgraded to that top line, right? Because it's last game before the break. If you're looking to jumpstart a player who's been clearly struggling, you would have maybe thought Jeff Skinner. They went the Arvidsson route, which similar jump starting because of injury. Thoughts on Jay Skin just living on the fourth line for what seems like the foreseeable future?
Yeah, and that's exactly it right there. Like, I mean, even when Arvidsson and Hyman were out of the lineup, Skinner wasn't getting those minutes with Connor McDavid, which I think is very telling. And I will say, I think at some point, it's easy to forget that we are not even at the halfway point of the season yet. I think we'll see him get another look. And if I was Chris Knobloch, I would just sit there. And I think Connor McDavid, smartest hockey player in the world, Jeff Skinner has played with skill before. At some point before the end of the regular season, I'd love to see Chris Knobloch almost just go, okay, clean slate, Jeff Skinner. We're going to give you 5 games with Connor McDavid. We're not going to pull you off because of 1 turnover, but we're going to give you 5 games. See if you guys click. Let's give it 1 more run, and boom. Then we'll have our answer before the trade deadline, maybe before the playoffs, whenever it comes. But we'll have our answer because we gave you a good, honest, long look next to Connor McDavid, which was kind of what he was signed here to do, right? So I agree with Chris Knobloch not giving him the 1 game kind of shot up the lineup. I do think at some point you need to give him a really, really good runway. And I see Maynard say that's unfair to 97. Is it though? Because it's the regular season. The Oilers are in a spot where they can tinker. So yeah, whether it's 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, whatever, I think Connor McDavid would like the opportunity to see if he can gel with a 35+ goal scorer on his wing. So yeah, for now, he's where he is and he's not hurting you. At some point, I think if you're going to keep him on your roster past the deadline into the playoffs, you need to give him an honest look with skill.
To say, Maynard, that's unfair to 97. Like I mentioned before, Connor's played with Patrick Maroon and made him great before. He's played with Matthias Janmark in spurts and says he likes playing with Matthias Janmark in those opportunities. And the other thing, let's not sit here and pretend like Jeff Skinner is some scrub that has done nothing in the NHL before. He can play with skilled players. We just haven't seen it as much this season because he hasn't been given those opportunities. I do believe if given, like you mentioned, a 5-game, 4-game stretch, we would see production from Jeff Skinner because he is no slouch. Now, we mentioned Victor Arvidsson revenge game. Let's talk about the other guy's revenge game, as it is Warren Foegele's first game against the Edmonton Oilers. First time seeing the jersey since Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And Fogs, he's been pretty solid, productive for the LA Kings this season. Kind of exactly what he was last year for the Edmonton Oilers. He has 9 goals and 9 assists, 18 points in 34 games so far. He's become a staple on that second line, much like he was last season, where he scored 20 goals stapled next to Leon Draisaitl. And you know me, I love Reddit and I love going to the other team's fan base and seeing what they're thinking. And also, I got one for you later that's going to make you very happy as well. But I was seeing what the fan base kind of thought about Foegele, and they love this dude. It is nonstop flowers being thrown at him. They called him Rob Blake's best move of the entire summer, best move in years. And the thing is, right, Ty, we've seen this from Warren Foegele. I get why they like what he does. There's nothing extremely flashy about it. He has 20 goal potential like he did last season. He's great on the PK. Just looks like a very solid, fun guy in the room. I think most guys in the Oilers would agree with that. And he signed a 3-year, $10 million deal. I believe that's 3.5, 3 point whatever cap hit per season. The Oilers, they went the Arvidsson route. So what have you thought of Warren Foegele fitting in with the enemy on the LA Kings? It doesn't surprise me. In my opinion, a guy like Warren Foegele can probably fit on any team's middle six area there on the wing because of all those reasons I just mentioned. Thoughts on Foegele and his start to his LA Kings tenure? Used to love him. Now he is the enemy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see him fitting in with LA. He's a pretty, I'll call it simple hockey player, and you said it, like middle six guy. You can play him on the third line in like an energy role. He'll help you on the PK. If you need to move him up to the second line, he scored 20 goals last season. He has enough skill to move up there. We saw that in Edmonton. He had runs where he'd go next to Leon Draisaitl and have success. He's a streaky scorer, but one thing that'll help is he's averaging almost 2 minutes more per game with the Kings than he did last year with the Oilers. So he's getting a bit more of an opportunity in LA, and he's taking advantage of it. 9 5v5 goals already on the season for Warren Foegele, on pace for another 20+ goal season. If you're the Oilers, I don't think you're looking at this going like, oh man, we let him get away, whatever. No, I mean, that's what free agency is. You wanted to bring in a more veteran, hopefully consistent guy like Victor Arvidsson, so you made the swap and less term, all of that. If you're the Kings, I think you're thrilled with this as well, because again, for $3.5 million, if this guy can pop you 20 goals in your middle six, you're not complaining about that value at all. So again, if I'm the Oilers, I'm not sitting here being like, oh damn, was that a mistake? No, it was time for him to go. He had a good run here. You move on. The Kings, they're thrilled to have him.
This is a very clickbaity question to ask you, but just shot out of a cannon. You look at those two deals, Arvidsson, $4 million for 2 seasons. Foegele, 3.5 cap hit for 3 years. Shot out of a cannon. Which one would you rather have right now on the Oilers with hindsight? Because to me, I like Arvidsson and I like the skill that he provides. Warren Fogel's a damn good penalty killer, and I do think that's the one area for me that maybe brings it above, but I don't know, because Arvidsson's top end talent is definitely higher than Warren Fogel's. I know it's a dumb question, clickbaity question, but who would you pick?
See, that's tough because I do like the PK side of Foegele. A little bit cheaper, but a bit more term, but younger. I think if I could go back, maybe I would keep Foegele around. But the reason Arvidsson is just so tempting is when he's healthy, that's a guy with 30+ goal upside. I don't see Foegele ever being a 25+ goal guy, never mind a 30+ goal guy. He just doesn't have the consistency. So again, for what the Oilers wanted and kind of needed, a right shot guy with 30 goal upside who kind of forechecks hard and would fit well next to Leon Draisaitl, I wouldn't undo it from either team's perspective. But if I was building a team and you put the two guys in their contract side by side, I'd probably lean Foegele, but slightly.
Yeah, I think as well. Now, it doesn't mean we don't love our Victor Arvidsson. It's just been the injuries so far this year. Had Arvidsson played another 15 games, I bet I'm sitting here singing an entirely different tune. I also see some people in the chat. Foegele all day. Foegele, but willing to give Arvidsson a playoff run to prove himself. Exactly, guys. If I would ask this about Connor Brown last year, we wouldn't have a single positive word to say, and bang, the playoffs come, and now we love that man. Let's go now to our Wilhauk beef jerky need to know information, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet, sweet Wilhauk name, made from 100% pure Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. And for more info, head to WilhaukBeefJerky.com. I say it a lot. It's my favorite stress munch to eat while watching the Edmonton Oilers. I feel like a horse or something going on. It just gives you something to bite down on. But the Edmonton Oilers, they come into this game 8-2 in their last 10. Red hot, like I mentioned, 3 wins in a row. And that hot streak kind of applies directly against the LA Kings as well. They're 8-2 in their last 10 against those Kings, including the 4-1 series win round 1 last season in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the Oilers in that series outscored the LA Kings 37-26. 5 games, score differential like that. wasn't all that close. Arvidsson, he gets his revenge game, first game since leaving this past summer. He had 123 points in 161 career games, which is pretty damn good production in a not so long tenure, I will say. He also, Arvidsson, had 10 points in 11 playoff games for the Kings, which weirdly enough all came against these Edmonton Oilers. I mentioned how the lineup is going to work. Arvidsson on the second line with Ryan Pods. Kapanen slides down with Rico and Brownie, while Matthias Janmark will continue to center that fourth line between Jeff Skinner and Corey Perry. More on Janmark playing that 4C role in just a minute. And finally, we do expect it to be Stuart Skinner this afternoon. Back-to-back this weekend. So Calvin Pickard should get the start against Anaheim, which I think is the 1,000% correct decision to go. Skinner is your 1A. He gets the 1A matchup. Pickard's your 1B. He gets the C matchup, I will say, of those Anaheim Ducks. But Stu, he's 13-8-2, 2-8-5, 2-8-5 goals against with an .895 save percentage. Somebody in the chat, do the math. How many saves consecutively to Stuart Skinner? I'm looking at you, Ty. You're on that. I know you know how to do that. How many saves consecutively until he can hit 900 save percentage? We'll flip it over. LA Kings side of things. They are 19, 10, and 5 on the season. Third in the Pacific. Oilers are second. Only 1 point separates these two teams. And you look at their goal numbers here. They're 16th in goals for. Goals against, they are third. Their power play, 25th, putrid. Their PK, very good. Also, shots against, they are the number one team in the entire NHL. So it might not be that boring 1-3-1 style like I mentioned. It is still defense first when it comes to these LA Kings. Kings, though, they've got injuries galore going through their lineup when you look at it. Trevor Moore, he's out. Hasn't played since December 12th, I do believe. Trevor Lewis, he's out. Hasn't played since November 30th. Drew Doughty hasn't played all season long because of an ankle injury. He's not going to be on the Four Nations roster. Ty, I know how you felt about that. Philip Deneau is day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. I still don't know. I'll check as we hit the 30-minute mark here if we have any news on him, but they're a little bit banged up even after this Christmas break that just happened. And finally, Darcy Kuemper, the Stanley Cup champion Darcy Kuemper, is expected to get the start this afternoon. Shit, I almost said this evening again. This afternoon. He's got an 8-2-5 record. 2 regulation losses, 5 of them in overtime. That really stood out to me. He's got a 2.40 goals against average with a 909 save percentage. He's on my fantasy team. I'm keeping him on the bench today because fuck him. That's why I'm loyal to the Oil. But yeah, he's been very good this season. And you think about the LA Kings, one thing that they have maybe lacked in the last couple of years in spurts is some consistent goaltending. We've seen Talbot's, Rittich's, Korpisalo's. Now we got Darcy Kuemper's. Ty, did I cover enough time for you? Do you know how many saves we need?
30 would do it. If he stops 30 straight shots, he'll be over a 900 on the season. It puts him dead on at 900. So we'll see if Stuart Skinner has another good performance against the Kings in him, because he's actually been historically very strong in this matchup. And one thing you mentioned with the Kings, and it's really what makes this matchup or this season and this run that they've been on so impressive, it's just the fact they've lost so many guys to injuries. If you were to do not man games lost, but cap hit lost per game, they're 5th highest in the NHL. Only San Jose, St. Louis, Colorado, 6th. The Islanders and Utah have more than them. So the fact that they've had this really surprising start to the season and they've been racking up points the way that they have, and they don't have Doughty and they don't have the other guys you mentioned up front, and they've lost other pieces throughout the year, man, it's really, really impressive. They've gotten lucky. Their shooting percentage is too high. It'll come down. But as that comes down, if they inject more talent into this lineup and they get healthier, they're going to be a team to watch.
Also, the LA Chargers just scored a touchdown. Just call the game, man. It's 37-7. Just end it. I don't even want to have to watch this anymore. Now, most of you would say, Aaron, you're doing a show. You don't need to watch. No, not in the fantasy football finals. You know how the rules are. Let's go now to my Sherwood Ford Giant storyline this evening, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Tired of dealership hassles, while Sherwood Ford and Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their giant deal program. Get clear, no nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online with all incentives included. Plus, enjoy the ease of mobile service, free pickup and delivery, and same day or next day service appointments. Sherwood Ford, the giant for a reason, and the presenting sponsor of Pre-Gaming with Bordzy. Couldn't do what we do without the Sherwood Ford team. So my storyline kind of heading into this one, and Ty, you can give me a storyline. You can give me a key to victory as well. For me, it's there's no rest. This is divisional playoff immediately after this break. I really like that point you made about going on the road for your first game back, as it just kind of takes all of that normal at-home routine out of it. You're with the boys a day before. You went and got breakfast together, especially on a matinee day like this. But, I mean, as for on the ice, there should be no new surprises to what is going out there. These two teams have seen each other a crazy amount the last couple years. Regular season, playoffs, it don't matter. There's new faces, there's old faces. The meat and potatoes, like I mentioned, are still there. So it's going to be the classic. Can the Oilers use their top end skill, use their speed, use their top players finding those matchups against, and keep them out there? Use that speed to your advantage because, as I mentioned, LA is more of a slower team. I'm also worried about the Christmas hangover, right? You're going to be full of food. You just spent it drinking. You weren't thinking about anything. And you throw in that it's a matinee Saturday game as well, which I need to make clear here. The Oilers have been much better in matinees over the last 2 seasons, I will say, but there's enough scar tissue on all of our brains from previous years of being an Edmonton Oilers fan. I'm worried about the rust heading into this one. LA dealing with the same thing, though. Is this my storyline? Two teams who know each other incredibly well. No secrets, no surprises. Just best on best. Who's going to win the hockey game? Ty, do you have a storyline or a key to victory for me?
Yeah, I think I'll go the key to victory route. And just again, scanning through some of the numbers on this Kings team, their power play, not that good. And at 5-on-5, I believe it's now been 15 games since they've had, and hear me through on this, since they've had 3 or more expected goals in a hockey game. They lit up Philly at 5-on-5 the other day, but in the last 15, their expected goals at 5-on-5 has been below 3 in all of them. The Oilers have done it twice in their last 8 or 9 games. So where I'm going with all of this is that I think if you play really solid, structured hockey, if you do what the Oilers do best, and that's possess the puck and drive play down at the other end of the ice, LA's not going to get a lot of opportunities, and they're not great at creating opportunities. They can be opportunistic, but my key to victory, if I'm Edmonton, is 1, stay out of the box. LA's power play is not good, so keep this game at 5-on-5. No problems there. And then just don't give them any easy ones. Play solid, play mistake-free hockey, and you'll generate more offense. LA doesn't have the skill, at least looking on that roster and looking at how they've played so far this season. They don't have the skill to just go out on their own and manufacture 3-4 goals because they have these high-powered pieces and blah, 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 blah. To me, if Edmonton can keep it a solid game, not give any freebies or easy ones to the Kings, they'll win the hockey game.
Right. It's just, I mean, I get it, and I said it. These two teams have played each other enough. We've seen the Oilers beat the LA Kings, not even on their best, but I don't think they're going to be taking them lightly this afternoon. Pat, let's pull it up now. If you got it, we'll go through it one more time. The projected Edmonton Oilers lineup for this afternoon. On the top line, we've got our boy Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zachary Martin-Hyman. Zachary Bubble Martin-Hyman, because more on him in a second. This dude is insane. I can't even process that you get better after you break your face in half, but I digress. Second line, Pods with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. Third line, Kapanen with Rico and Brownie. Fourth, Skinner with Matthias Janmark and Corey Perry. D pairings, they're going to stay the same, even though, do you remember before the Ottawa game, or maybe it was before the San Jose game, the Oilers at practice had switched up all of their defensive pairings, leading me to think that there was going to be changes on pre-gaming. They then dropped their lineup, and I go, oh, shit, okay, it's the same old. And it's going to be that again today. Ekholm with Bush, Nurse with Stetch, and Brett Kulak with Ty Emberson. So one guy in Kasperi Kapanen, right, he gets demoted, I'll put in quotations down there, to the third line. A move that Nobby said would happen when Victor Arvidsson was good to go again. But this dude in Kasperi Kapanen, I know it was a conversation on ONE because Liam was a firm believer in that Kapanen's going to stick on that second line, that he had done enough to stay up there with Leon and Podzilla. I still live by the age old, you do not lose your spot due to injury. You got to at least give him a shot back up there and see if he still has it. But either way, Kasperi Kapanen has been quite the revelation from waiver wire pickup to top six, maybe not the word darling for the Edmonton Oilers, but top six staple for what's been the last 2 to 3 weeks. Now, this move, I would also argue, this is Stan Bowman's best as the Edmonton Oilers GM so far. He's got 3 goals, 1 assist, not crazy production, but similar to a Podkolzin and Ty Kapanen to me just seems like he does the smart things, the right things, the simple things out there, moves his feet, has drawn a number of penalties, has scored goals, finding those quiet areas. He's got a big body out there and can actually really throw his weight around. I've really liked that part. And I guess I'll say I understand Arvidsson's second line. I'm fully in support of that. But I like what Kapanen could do here with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. Yes, Matthias Janmark, Brownmark featuring Rico. I've loved that trio through and through. But the argument is that Matthias Janmark can do other things as your 4C, allowing Derek Ryan out of the lineup. And I'd argue Kasperi Kapanen has just as much offensive upside and production as Matthias Janmark. Might not have as many points. And I love that we're talking about third and fourth liners offensive production right now. But those are 2 dudes that have surprised so far this year in the stats and numbers they've put up. So I guess long-winded way of asking, thoughts on Kapanen in that third line? Because I think that has some serious potential to, yes, be defensively smart. You've got Rico and Brownie, but I feel like those 3 dudes can sneakily put up points.
Yeah, I think they can as well. And for how many years did we sit here and say, man, you need scoring when the big guns are off the ice? And now you have a third and fourth line that features an Adam Henrique. Again, are the numbers what he was doing in Anaheim? No, but he was playing top line in Anaheim, second line. He was playing top power play. So you have to view the players a little bit differently, because at the end of the day, a lot of the offensive zone starts, a lot of those big offensive opportunities in Edmonton go to the big guns. So what can you do with limited opportunity and limited time? If you're in the bottom 6, you got to not hurt the team. And what I've liked is that Kapanen, the book on him coming into Edmonton, is sometimes he's disengaged, sometimes he's very sloppy defensively, all of that stuff. We haven't seen that yet. So he's not been hurting the Oilers. He slid up the lineup for a bit. Great. Now we get to see him in a third line role where, again, you're maybe not getting 15 minutes a night. You're going to be knocked down a little bit. You're maybe not starting in the offensive zone quite as much. What can he do now that he doesn't have Leon Draisaitl playing with him? Again, as a guy similar to Henrique, who has a history of putting up some amount of offense, maybe not to Rico's level, even Connor Brown, these are 3 guys who scored before, and I like the idea of maybe building up a third scoring line for this team. Fourth line, Jeff Skinner, Matthias Janmark, Corey Perry, same thing. Go out there, don't hurt the team, and whatever offense you can get is gravy. But as much as, there's been some complaints about Skinner, and we obviously talked about that, you have a fourth line, your 2 wingers have a total of 12 goals in the first 34 games. If you can just get that for the rest of the year, forget the cap hits, forget who the players are, forget their names, whatever. If you can just get that production, you're thrilled.
Yeah, 100%. And the more we look at this Edmonton Oilers forward group through and through, it's not a bad decision to be made. It's such good problems to have right now. Then you add throwing in number 91 Evander Kane at some point. My God, I get excited. Also, the chat, they're chirping me saying I'm chatty today. I missed you. Lance said it there as well. I missed you guys. I've gone days of just chirping dudes on Call of Duty. How could I do this without you? Also, Electronic Jordan's in and he says, how can you be working, Bordzy? Drake May is showing off the Pats' future right now. Update, it's not great. Brother, I'm watching right now. I can see it right here in the corner of my eyes. The road to first overall sometimes gets ugly, and you need to shield yourself from it. But no. Travis Hunter will be mine. We talk about this lineup. There's goal scoring in the fourth line. There's goal scoring on the third line. But Ty, I'd be remiss not to mention Zachary Bubble Martin Hyman and what he is doing right now. This guy on fire doesn't even begin to do it justice. He scored in 6 straight games. He has 10 in his last 9. He also broke his face during that 9-game stretch, and he just continues to score goals. My question to you, Ty, Does he do it again this afternoon? Because Bordzy's bankroll is sure hoping he does.
Yeah, well, and obviously we're going to get to that in a bit. Nobody in the month of December has more goals than Zach Hyman, and nobody who's in the top 10 has played fewer games than him. 10 goals in 9 games. Second in the NHL is Mark Scheifele, who has 9 in 12 games in that stretch. Like, what Zach Hyman's doing is absolutely bananas right now. 6 goals in his last 5 games. He scored a goal in 6 straight. If you're one of those people who bets on him every game, you're absolutely loving it right now. And why can't he keep it going? He gets to play with Connor McDavid. He is one of the best finishers in the NHL, which is another thing when you throw it out there and it's like, oh, Zach Hyman, and whenever you tweet about him, you get Leafs fans or whoever being like, oh, McDavid merchant, tap in merchant. If playing with McDavid and just tapping pucks in was so easy, so many more guys would have done it. You do not fluke your way to a 50-plus goal season. You do not fluke your way to the run Zach Hyman is on right now. So bet against him. I'm certainly not doing that.
Yeah, no way. And like, yes, I get that stereotypical. He scores off his face, he scores off his ass and anything. We have seen Zach Hyman ripping the puck in this last 2-week stretch here, those 9 games that I have mentioned. His shot, wildly, wildly underrated, I will say. Let's go now to our starting goaltender report, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Hit the trails this winter and the waves next summer. As fellow hockey fans, the team at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine are helping Oilers Nation fans gear up. Their home of an ATV for just $50 bi-weekly, or cruise that open water for as low as $105 bi-weekly. Get your hands on a boat. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine are hockey fans, helping hockey fans get ready for their next adventures with motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, boats, and scooters. Always need to mention the scooters because that's my favorite toy they have there. Patrick, can you pull it up if we've got it, the tail of the tape between these two goaltenders? If you've been watching Pregaming all year, you know these graphics are nothing new. They might have the dominating categories, but we have got Stuart Skinner. So Kemper, 8-2-5, 240, 911 save percentage. Fun fact, that is my birthday. And then Stuart Skinner, 13-8-2, 285, 895. I mentioned to you, I love the way they're using these starts. Pickard, you're going to get the 1B against the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow. Stuart Skinner, he's had more than enough experience against this LA Kings team. And Ty, like I said before, I love to say I told you so. And we are two guys who believed in Stu through and through. That is December turnaround. I don't know why, but it continues to keep happening. Hopefully we can milk one more awesome December start out of him. Actually, we have another one on December 31st as well. Point being, Stu's been on fire in December, dude.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. And one thing that's really encouraging to me is the way he's bounced back from his one not good start this month. He gave up 6 to Florida, and it was kind of like, oh, is this the end of the hot streak? Are we going to be a slip back? Or are we going to see Skinner slip back a little bit? Nope. He comes back, stops 24-26 against Boston, 20-21 against Ottawa. He's been excellent. So again, early in the year, consistency a problem. December, just like he did last year, he's turning it around and he's getting comfortable. So I don't have any concerns about Stuart Skinner heading into this hockey game. Now, the guy on the other side, Darcy Kuemper, you see the record, very solid, 8-2-5, although I'll take an OT win tonight. That's a sneaky, weird record, because if you just go straight up, it's 8-7 all of the sudden in terms of wins, losses. But he has been consistent, is the point I wanted to get to here. There's only been one game this season where Darcy Kuemper's allowed more than 3 goals in a hockey game, and that came back on October 14th when he gave up 8 to the Ottawa Senators. You look back since then, every game has just been 1-2-3-0, 1-2-3. Like, he has given them a chance to win in pretty much every single game he's played in so far this season. So he's going to be tough to beat. He has allowed 3 goals at least in each of his last 3 games, back-to-back games with a sub-900 save percentage as well. But Darcy Kuemper's always tough. 34 years old. He's a vet guy. Again, they acquired him for a reason, and he's given them solid minutes. So that kind of goes back to maybe another key to victory, where as much as you don't want to give the Kings anything easy on the offensive side, you're also going to need to do more than just pile pucks on net to beat Darcy Kuemper. You need to create quality looks.
I want quality looks, and then the same old, same old. Whenever I see a goaltender with good numbers like that, they're human. Traffic in front. That's where I want Corey Perry planting his ass in that blue paint, making a little wax, doing whatever you can to get him off his game, hopefully creating second and third chance opportunities. But it's me a good goaltending battle today. I mentioned the LA Kings, their goaltending has been the one inconsistent part over the last couple of seasons. And I do perk up a little. I move forward in my seat where I go, oh, they have a former Stanley Cup champion in Darcy Kemper now out there. I'm a little nervous, but 97, he gonna pick them apart. Let's go now to the away lineup, the LA lineup, brought to you by Greta Bar Yag, my favorite spot in the city. Pre, post, weekday, or weekend, it don't matter. Greta is the spot to be. They got awesome arcade games, great weekly drink specials every day of the week. They got something going on. And Ty, I don't need to tell you, the food at Greta is beyond underrated because it is so damn good. Great street food, great bar food. I got a hankering for some pizza taquitos right now. Let's take a peek at the projected LA Kings roster this afternoon. Top line, Alex Turcotte with Anze Kopitar and Adrian Kempe. And there he is, the former Oiler, Warren Fogle, with Quinton Byfield and Tanner Jeannot. Look out for Jeannot today as well. Third line, Kevin Fiala with Philip Deneau, where I'm going to keep checking to see if he is confirmed in the lineup, and Alex Laferriere on that third line. Fourth, what does that say? Andre Lee. I can't see some of these on the thing that I have here. Either way, I digress. Andre Lee, Samuel Hellenius, and Akil Thomas. Then your deep pairings, Tyler, it's the King of the Rat Club, Mikey Anderson with Vladislav Gavrikov, Joel Edmondson with Brant Clark, Jacob Moverari, I don't know how to say that, and Jordan Spence. So you look at this lineup, they are missing some top end talent, not like the Edmonton Oilers when you think of top skill throughout their tie. If I had to give you one player to watch this evening who Oilers fan should keep their eyes on this afternoon, who would that player be?
Well, one, it looks like just from the line rushes, Deneau is in the lineup. King's going to be going with 11-7 this afternoon. So that's going to be the look in the lineup. One guy to keep an eye on in this hockey game. I mean, he's been their best player for however long, but Anze Kopitar continues to be the ageless wonder. He is pacing to have a 90-plus point season for the first time in, I believe, 6 years, and he's doing it at 37 years old. 10 goals, 27 assists in or so far on the season, 10 points in his last 10 games. Anze Kopitar is just the ageless wonder, man. It is so impressive to see him continuing to do what he's doing. Another guy who's bouncing back after a rough start to the year is Kevin Fiala. He's got 5 goals in his last 10. So those are the two I'd keep an eye on.
I think for me, I'm just going to go simple Adrian Kempe. We've seen this guy score aplenty against the Edmonton Oilers. Feel like he is a bit of an Oiler killer. He leads the team in goals. He's got 16 on the season, 32 points in 34 games. Yeah, I see Maynard in here. He just says, Kempe concerns me. That rat is legit good. Yeah, I could as well. Ty, what do you think the rat levels are going to be at today? If people don't know, you can explain your love and affection for one Mikey Anderson, but these games always get chippy. He tends to always be in the middle of said chippiness. Even some of those guys in the third line, Tanner Jeannot, don't anybody drop the mitts with that guy today, because that guy scares the living shit out of me when I see him out there on the ice. Ty, what do you think the rat level is going to be at this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, regular season game around Christmas. Maybe it won't be the spiciest game we've seen, but again, the rat list going back to the playoffs, there's a lot of guys on this LA team who love to just get under your skin. They've lost a couple. A guy like Blake Lizotte is no longer there, and he was a real big rat, but Mikey Anderson on the blue line is a big part of that. And then you go up front, like Phil Deneau's a rat. They acquire Jeannot. He's obviously a big pest. Even Kempe up in the top line, like he just gets under your skin. It's what he does. So yeah, they're missing a little bit here tonight, but still, it's the LA Kings. You know they don't like the Oilers. You know they want to stick it to Edmonton tonight. Maybe we won't have a lot of Christmas cheer. Maybe it will be pretty spicy.
Yeah, I like Bob Stauffer in here. Says people forget Nurse is one of the hardest guys in the league. He'll fight anyone. Nurse can dust anyone on the Kings. Nurse is valuable to fight now. I would love to see a little scrap here right after Christmas while we're all on our couches for a nice afternoon game as well. One thing before we talk bets, Ty, we've got a little trip planned for the Nation Citizens that's coming up. Pat, hit it for me because it's time for the Nation Vacation, March 30th to April 2nd. Visit nationgear.ca for more details. Shout out to Flair Air for this bad boy. because we're headed to Vegas, headed to Sin City to watch the Oilers take on the Vegas Golden Knights. And it's going to be a little bit different than most of our trips, because not only do you get to watch the Oilers take on Vegas in an exclusive luxury suite, that's right, people, the ultimate game experience. We're also going to hook you up with flights, hotels, poolside, live podcast viewing at Stadium Swim. Ty, you were there last year. You, fun fact, jumped into one of the pools live on Oilers Nation every day. April 1st, I've been looking at what last year's April 1st was in Vegas. Expect around 20 degrees, shorts weather if you are from Canada or Edmonton, and it's going to be a very good time. We have flight options. We've also got non-flight options where if you want to book your flights with points, maybe you don't live in Edmonton, but you want to come meet us and hang out in Las Vegas, you can do it. Ty, how was Stadium Swim when you were there? I've never been to Stadium Swim, but it looked sick.
The hotel itself is my new favorite hotel in Vegas. I love being on Fremont. The pool is really cool. They actually have blackjack tables like around the edges of the pool. So like you can go straight from the pool. You can just get out, towel off, take 10 steps. You're at a blackjack table. It is unbelievable, man. The bar there is sick. And then the hotel is like, it's not brand new, but it's one of the newer hotels in that area. And it is really, really sharp. It's so much fun.
I can get out of the pool and then go gamble. That sounds like I get the cards wet. Sounds like I might get the cards a little wet, but that sounds incredible, dude. It's the TV setup and everything out there. And around April, whatever sport you're watching, NBA, NHL, there's going to be playoff implications, and theoretically there should be some baseball maybe going on as well. Now, I don't know what we've got here, but our producer, Patrick Puff, says he's got a nice little Warren Fogle clip that he'd like to play for us. Pat, hit it.
Looking at your time, though, with the Oilers, this is a team you spent the last 3 seasons with. You know them so well. How potent can their offense be at times?
Yeah, they got the 2 best players in the world, and, we're very well aware of that. But, I'm excited to play them, and I think the guys are ready too.
He looks nervous. He doesn't look excited. He knows that he's playing the 2 best players in the world. He's had a front row seat to that for the last couple of years. I just don't like seeing him in the LA colors too. That's just not right. That's gross. But I digress. Let's go now to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365, because Bet365 is a proud partner of Pregame with Bordzy. Open an account today and bet on a huge range of markets, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today and use the code NATION. I'm so laughing from people in the chat here. He looks evil now. Yes, gross. So gross. Wow, we're really going at him. Well, speaking of gross, look at Zach Hyman on the edge of that one. Their options this afternoon, I went star heavy, and the last 2, I haven't changed them much because they've been hitting so frequently. So your first option, Leon, to get 3 shots on goal. It's just minus 115, but I like it. He led the Oilers in shots in the 5-game series against the Kings round 1. He had 23 in 5 games. He's also hit this line in 6 of his last 7 games. Then we get to option number 2, dry, 2+ points, plus 140. Where if you're going to keep giving me plus, but even a little extra juice on Leon, 2+ points, I'm smashing that every step of the way. He is riding a 9-game point streak where he has 20 points in that stretch. And then finally, Ty, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Actually, that doesn't apply to Zach Hyman's nose, but betting on Zach Hyman, anytime goal, plus 190. I said he scored in 6 straight games. He has 10 in his last 9. Plus 190 is way too high for a guy who has been this hot recently. So I'm smashing that one. Todd, look at these 3 bets. Which one do you like the most?
Oh, man, the Hyman price tag is just so good. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game, but it's so hard to pass up on that. Plus 190. I think that one's my favorite out of the bunch, just because, again, usually when a 50-goal guy is on a heater like this, you're getting there anytime at like minus 110, minus 120. Plus 190, crazy good value. That's without a doubt my favorite spot.
It makes no sense. Last year, when he was on his 54-goal pace, you were getting minus 110s and minus 115s nonstop. But it feels like Bet365, and I love you, Bet365. Feels like Vegas and them have not adjusted to what is going on right now. And that also applies to Leon 2+ points, because I've been profiting a lot recently. Ty, do you have any bets that you've been looking at yourself? Anything you've placed this evening? It's 40-7 for the Chargers. My God.
Yeah, it's an absolute blowout. But I just got an Austin Hooper catch, which cashed a little parlay for me, 40 into 290. So I'm ready to go now. Oh, yeah, it was a big one. I was fired up. I don't know if anyone, I gave a little fist pump like 30 seconds ago. But one spot I actually like tonight is Evan Bouchard's shot prop. Bouch to get 3 shots on goal comes in at -105. He missed it last game, but before that, he had hit it in 4 in a row. So I could see Evan Bouchard hammering a few pucks at the net. I also just threw all 3 of your picks into a little same game parlay, plus 800. I don't hate it. Gets even juicier if you throw in the money line. Yeah,
I could do that. As we know here, I bet them all separately and parlayed together. But Ty, we do so responsibly, and we only bet what you're willing to lose. Do not get crazy out there, people. A win is a win is a win. We do not unit shame. Bet 50 cents. I don't care. You doubled your money. Who cares? Or plus 800 in that sense. My final question to you, Yiler. Give me a score prediction and an anytime goal scorer. Could be for both teams, but I will judge you if you give me an LA Kings goal scorer.
Yeah, I think the Oilers win this hockey game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm pretty confident in Stuart Skinner in this hockey game. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Oilers win this one 4-1 with an empty netter at the very end. And for my anytime goal scorer, I'll even give you 2 because I want to push positive vibes before ahead of Zach Hyman, because I think he's going to score again. So push some positive vibes behind him. And then I will also say Victor Arvidsson scores in his return. So give me Hyman, Arvidsson, and a 4-1 win.
I'm pretty sure Victor Arvidsson is plus 400 when I looked earlier this morning for an anytime goal. Sprinkle responsibly for me. I think the under, I agree. You said 4-1. I'm going to go 3-2. Fuck, it could even be an overtime victory. Like, it could be just, we've looked at Kemper's record there. We've seen these two teams play extra time several times before. I'm going to say 3-2 OT win for the Edmonton Oilers. Zach Hyman, anytime goal without a doubt. And that shall do it for us for Pregame with Bordzy this afternoon. Remember, keep it locked here on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Also, make sure you are subscribed and throw down your courtesy like as well. Ty and I will be going live right here, right after the game, breaking down what we hope is an Edmonton Oilers W. It'll probably be around, games at 2? I'd say 5 p.m. around there, a little bit earlier version of After Dark. But if you do live in Edmonton, you're very aware that it's very dark out at 5 p.m. So we are true to the name. I love you all. Big shouts out to our sponsors, Sherwood Ford the Giant, Sherwood Power Sports Marine, Greta Bar Yegg, Bet365, Wilhauk Beef Jerky, and of course, Come On the Nation Vacation. And Ty, if you're sitting here going, it's a Saturday afternoon, I don't have much going on, you, my friend, should probably grab an Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. We've got them all over the place, all over the studio, all over my house. I got you Odd Company Nation Beers for Christmas. Did you drink them?
Yes, I did. I had a friend over the other day, and we each had 2. Very responsible.
Way to go, boys. As I always say, 2 of these during an Oilers game is kind of like the perfect, you're not too crazy, but you're feeling a little bit loose. You're yelling at the TV more than you normally would. It is perfect. So shouts out to Odd Company. I love you all. They're on your courtesy like, and as I said, we'll talk hopefully positively after the game. Peace out. Good luck, everybody.